Hello, guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Monster Families. Today, we're going to be talking about a rather interesting monster type, which is known as the Wraiths or Ghosts or any other number of monster types. The Wraiths are definitely an interesting monster type in the Diablo 2 universe. Number one, they are incorporeal. Which basically means that they do not actually have a physical body. This is something that's actually quite unique across the board with the Wraiths, is that they are not physical in nature. And because of this, they can actually attack a target with a infinite number of themselves. Unlike most monsters, which have to occupy space around the target, Wraiths do not have to occupy space because they do not occupy space. So you can have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 of them all attacking you at the same time, and this is pretty crazy. And you would think they would make really good revives because of this, but there's an issue with them when it comes to revives, is that when you teleport, they kind of spaz out and they spread out all over the place. It's really funky. In fact, I'm going to show you this really quickly. That was not what I meant to do at all. Unsummon. I meant to do that. That was what I meant to do. So let's go get a handful of them, and we're going to summon them as revives. And I'm going to show you very quickly, like, how they work weirdly when teleporting. I know this isn't exactly the focus of the video, but it's still a very interesting side effect of the way that the ghosts work. So we're going to get ourselves a little bit of a ghost army here. Alright, so if I teleport on top of a target, you will see this really weird behavior. So whenever you teleport with ghosts, for whatever reason, they immediately will run away from you to the maximum distance that they were capable of running away. So tele-stomping with them is actually very ineffective. They also kind of like have a weird AI where they just kind of fly around and do stupid things instead of actually attacking the target. And so sometimes, even though like you let them, get into there and actually start hitting the target, they tend to be very horrible in regards to that as well. Now, let's take a look at the stats of the ghosts, and we're going to talk about like their particular effects. So one of the things that you'll notice right away is their HP is kind of low for hell difficulty. Like, I've seen monsters with 8,000, like 16,000 HP, and they have particularly low hit points, which is kind of on purpose. Because they're always immune to physical damage, they have basically 100% immunity to physical damage in the hell difficulty. They're also relatively high in physical reduction in nightmare and normal difficulty, up to 75% reduction. They also have 8 to 22% block chance as well, which just makes them very tanky. But because they have low HP, if you can reduce or remove that physical immunity through various methods like amplify damage, the physical sunder, decrepify, etc., you can generally cut through them pretty quickly. They also have no magic immunity, but they are 50% magic resistant in hell difficulty. They have no fire resistance. They have basically no cold resistance until hell, and then they get up to 80%, 50 to 80% cold resistance. They have no lightning resistance, and their poison resistance is weird. They are basically immune to poison in certain places. I've seen this myself. There is a couple ghost types that are immune to poison. I don't know why they're not listed here. But they have 75% poison resistance in hell, 60 in nightmare, and 50% in normal. So in general, when you encounter the ghosts, you're going to encounter light physical resistance and poison resistance are the two main ones that you're going to come across. And there, of course, are ghosts, wraiths, specters, apparitions, and dark shapes. Now, I highly recommend that you kill these guys because they have one of the best rune drop rates in the entire game. And this has actually been proven because of the fact that they do not drop weapons or armor. Now, there is an exception to this rule. They will not drop weapons or armor, but if you have an elite one, The elite one can drop weapons or armor. So it is primarily and only, for the most part, the regular ghosts that have the increased rune drop chance, not the elite ghosts, like you would potentially think. The elite ghosts and the champion ghosts, they have the possibility of dropping weapons and armor, but not the other way around. This increases their overall potential chance at dropping, runes, potions, scrolls of town portal, scrolls of identify, arrows, bolts, etc., etc., etc. They also have the ability to drain mana from you, which is pretty annoying. And let's go ahead and play with that real quick here. So let me go ahead and unsummon all of my minions so that they come and attack me. And you'll notice that when they're attacking me, if I take off my armor here so they can actually hit me. Stop trying to hit me and hit me. Oh, I have so much defense. Like, holy crap. There we go. And I'll drink some potions here, so we're going to chonk. And you'll see that they're just sucking my mana down. Just sucking it. Like, even if I do regenerate some mana, even if I do happen to regenerate, they're just going to pull it right back down. They have the ability to basically suck away mana, and this is just a feature of the ghosts. In large packs, especially when you're dealing with a huge number of them, they can take away pretty much all of your mana almost instantaneously. So this does make them kind of nasty for pretty much anybody who doesn't want to have their mana taken away. Energy shield users, melee characters who need mana to actually, fire off their abilities. Make sure you have a mana potion or two in place. Rejuvenation potions work very poorly against mana drain. So to kind of show you this, let me go ahead and go back here real quick. And I'll show you why, one of the reasons why I always tend to keep a potion in my belt of the blue variety. And this generally has to do with the fact that most of these ghosts, when they attack you, are going to take basically all your mana away instantaneously. If you use a rejuvenation potion, it will refill your mana, yes. But when the monster hits you again and is capable of sucking your mana away, he's going to suck all of it away in one fell swoop. So having the blue potions is much more effective because it constantly restores your mana over a long period of time, and you don't have to worry about your mana just hitting 0 instantaneously because you'll be getting it back. They don't have the ability to suck away the portion of mana that's not actually returned to your bar yet. And that's why blue potions just tend to work better against ghosts, or basically anything with mana drain or like mana burn or anything like that. Because it's just a matter of like constant restoration as opposed to instantaneous, right? So when you're using a potion, it's over a certain period of time, and that means that you're going to keep getting back mana over that time. And no matter how many times they steal all of your mana from your bar, you're still going to be slowly healing mana as a result. So it's something that you definitely want to make sure that you have like at least one row of blue potions on you if you're fighting monsters that have mana burn, or you're fighting monsters that are obviously draining mana like the ghosts are. And I'll kind of show you the difference between how this functions. So let's get some of these ghosty boys up in here. And you'll see that if I chug my potion, I'll still have the ability to use mana, and the blue potion is still restoring my mana, even though they're taking it all away. So it allows me to keep firing off spells, even though they're sucking all my mana away. If I'm utilizing the rejuvenation potion will give me some mana back instantly, yes. But then the mana will just instantly get stolen again as soon as the next ghost hits me and drains that mana away, which is, of course, not really what you want. My personal opinion on ghosts is they're definitely a very interesting monster type in the game. Obviously, they're meant to be incorporeal. They have the ability to stack up on you, which can be extremely nasty. They also kind of have a little wonky AI because sometimes they just kind of fly around and do stupid stuff for no reason. They don't really make good revives if you're teleporting, but they're actually pretty good revives if you're not teleporting. because they do have the ability to stack up on targets. And let's take a look at their damage output here. So they have melee attacks, primarily physical damage. They also have another melee attack, also primarily physical damage. So they're physical damage dealers. They're pretty tanky, obviously, because they're immune to elements. They can be resurrected by anybody, but they're really poor when it comes to teleporting because of the way that they spread out and do weird things. But they will eventually sort of coalesce on the target, and you can get a really large number of them on one place. They work really good in tight areas, too. Like, for instance, if you're in, say, Maggot Lair, as a summon necromancer, these actually are worth your time to go get. So if you want to like go backwards, for instance, like say you were doing a summon necromancer and you were trying to get through Maggot Lair, because the ghosts can stack up on a target and they don't actually care about, you know, obviously physical like presence, they have the ability to stack up on the target that's at the front of the pack. So what you could do is you could go to jail level 1, get yourself a little ghost army before you go into the Maggot Lair, and then go into the Maggot Lair with your ghost army, and they would obviously be able to stack up on the maggots, getting you through the Maggot Lair quicker. One of the biggest issues with, you know, Maggot Lair in general is that it's literally a 1 by space, and you can only have one skeleton or one golem up to the front. By the way, don't have your golem in the front. Your golem does no damage. Your skeletons do way more damage than your golem does. But in the case of the ghosts don't care. The ghosts are going to all stack up on the target, and they're going to just damage the target equally. You could have 10, 20, like however many revives you have, and then you could go back and get more ghosts. Obviously, it would be much better if you could get the ones from Arcane Sanctuary, because there's so many guaranteed ones in Arcane Sanctuary, but Far Oasis is before Arcane, which kind of makes that impossible, unfortunately. I think that's pretty much it when it comes to the ghosts. There's tons of variations all throughout the game, but there's very little variation between them. Some of them have a little bit more block chance, some of them have a little bit more life or a little bit more resistances, but for the most part, they're pretty much all the same. And annoying for melee characters and pretty much anybody who doesn't want their mana drained on a regular basis. They can also be particularly nasty in hell difficulty because obviously they're immune to physical, and you're going to have to come up with ways to be able to deal with them. I recommend using things like Open Wounds, which does bypass physical immunity. I recommend using Prevent Monster Heal to obviously stop them from regenerating. Poison can be very effective if you have the ones that are not immune to poison, but quite a few of them are. And you can also utilize things like elemental damage, cold, fire, lightning, etc., to bypass their physical immunity as well. Amplify damage or decrepify also come in handy, as well as a bone sunder to give you the bone break physical immunity breaking. The bone break won't work by itself really, and neither does the amplify damage, but if you combine the amplify damage and the bone break together, you'll be able to cut through them like they're made out of paper. I think that's pretty much it when it comes to the ghosties. As always, I do appreciate you guys and gals joining me. Be sure to hit that like button and the subscribe button if you are enjoying the content. And as always, keep watching.